Hello everyone, welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick. This is a daily ramble, a Father's Day special. Before I go anywhere, it's that time of the month where I've got to give my our wonderful channel sponsor, the Kent and Sussex Tea and Coffee Company, a shout out. So if you do love your tea and your coffee, who don't, and hot chocolate by the way, not that there's much call for hot chocolate in this weather, it is absolutely boiling out there. But they're brilliant. Go over, check them out. 15% discount if you use our discount code Claret15. Have a look at the web store. You'll find a link to it in the description of this video. They've been our sponsor now for a long, long time. And as I always say, run by a West Ham man as well, David, top man. So go over, support a local business, all right? Yes, happy Father's Day to all you dads out there and to everyone whose fathers and, you know, dads, granddads have passed away and you're struggling a bit today. I know how you're feeling. It's a tough day. It's a tough day. So my heart goes out to all you lot. But try and battle through, power through, make the best of it. All right? Okay, right. That's the soppy stuff out of the way. Let's get on to the really positive stuff. West Ham. Where to start? Well, the last video that I did was, you could call it a call to action. We had about 3,700 votes on the petition. As you can see, that's jumped substantially to 4,110, which is a big jump. That is a big jump in the off-season. I'm really, really pleased with that. So like I've always said, I want us to try and get to 10,000 before that season starts. And do you know what? We're well on the way to doing that. If we keep on growing at this rate, we're going to be fine. So thank you, everyone that did jump on board. And thanks to the 4,000 others of you that have already signed up. All right? I'll go on to talk about that in a little bit. But let's talk about some West Ham news. So there's a lot. Nothing's happened, but there's a lot that's been reported in the last little while. John Duran came out, didn't do a video on it. It was nonsense. I did check, because I don't know whether you know, back when I was playing ITK last January, I broke the Duran story, didn't I? I beat Romano to the punch. He was linking him to Chelsea, and I said, no, he's coming to West Ham. Well, he never came to West Ham. So that's what good being a fucking ITK does you. This is West Ham. They're not going to sign anyone anyway. They'll do whatever they can to knacker the deal. He was never going to come to West Ham, even if it's a loan. He's in Saudi. You've heard the story. He's not settled. But I do know that player has got a lot of resentment for West Ham now. He really wanted to come. He really wanted to come to West Ham, and we ballsed him around. He thought it was done. You know, he did the crossed hammers when he was still at Aston Villa, brought on it's his own fault, mind, but he must have been so sure that he was coming to West Ham because he was not getting on with Emery. Yeah, he was never going to come to West Ham. And then when you hear that he's on $3,500 a week, which is tax-free out there, whoever takes him on loan, they're going to have to pay a substantial loan fee plus pick up his wages. It's not going to be a portion of it. We was never going to be in that conversation anyway. There would always be, put it this way, if it was a bargain, if his club were willing to pay, I don't know, 80% of his wages, half the clubs around Europe would be going in for him. He wouldn't be coming to West Ham. But certainly with that sort of deal, it ain't going to happen. It's just not. You're seeing that we're linked now with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Every window. The only thing is, I can believe it this time, he's on a free. He's on a free now. I don't think we will. But again, can I be sure? I don't know. He's not spending any money. So free transfers are going to be the flavour of the day. If you looked at that Bosman list, there's some good players on there. You got Neymar. You got Ronaldo. You got. We could build an 11 from free transfers of over the hill players on massive money. It's probably the route that I can see him taking. However, I have been told, and I don't know which player, but as you know, we've been turned down by a multitude of players just recently. One of them in particular really surprised me, and that was Egan Riley from Burnley. Young kid, defender. We can't even attract a Premier League club in London, can't even take a defender from Burnley to London out of the grasp of Marseille. I know Marseille are a big club and they're in the Champions League, but it's fucking France, isn't it? It's a French league. It's a farmers' league. We couldn't even attract him. Obviously, they've got Gomez as well. That's another one, long running saga. Which is why I'm not playing ITK anymore. I know names, but as I've said before, they are just names. They're meaningless because this club don't do anything. you can offer them who you want. They're gonna balls it up. At the end of the day, he's gonna run this window as he's gonna run it into the ground. A lot of these players are gonna be leaving. We know they're gonna be leaving. It ain't gonna happen anytime soon. Even the likes of Emerson, which I'm quite sad about. That's obviously going to happen. Corney. Apparently, we're playing hardball over the fee for Corney. Someone wants to pay for him. So we could end up screwing that up because Vieira wants him. So we're dragging everything out. You've got this thing with Kudus as well. And then obviously Paqueta, if Paqueta gets cleared, he's gone. He's gone. That's another one. Our only hope of keeping Paqueta is if there's no decision on his court case and it runs into next season. That's our only chance of keeping him. The likes of Souček will be staying. The likes of James Ward-Prowse will be staying. As I've said before, Kilman will be staying. I think Todibo will be staying as well. But we've had a player, going back to my original point, one of them that have turned us down, have cited, this is what I've been told, for moral reasons, to avoid potential reputational damage. Now, I don't know what that is and what that's about. But anyone that follows West Ham's chairman on Twitter can only put two and two together. I don't know. But we've got all of this. Maybe as well, there's a story that's just come out about CSKA Moscow. We signed Vlasic from CSKA Moscow 4 years ago now. We held £13.5 million back. We basically tried to knock them because of the Russia-Ukraine war. We thought, oh, that's a touch. We ain't got to pay them. That's how this club operates. As if that club weren't in enough trouble. It ain't the football club's fault, is it? We're basically using that as a reason why we didn't have to pay £13.5 million. Apparently, we've been completely ignoring the club. And the story is that there's been a tribunal. And if we don't pay £13.5 million by the end of July, which is 45 days, something like that, we're going to have a transfer ban. So I'm sure they'll find the money to pay for that. But again, what is it with Sullivan? Again, it's short-term gain, long-term pain. With everything to do with this club. And everything's coming home to roost all at once in this bloody window. All of it is. That's embarrassing though, isn't it? That really is. It doesn't matter what way you cut it. I mean, you're talking... I know 13 million's 13 million, but we bought that player. We owed that money. You don't just knock clubs. So again, it's all centred around Sullivan. What it is, I don't know. But we're definitely struggling to attract players. To get them in. Now, don't forget, I know we're crap, but we're in the Premier League and we're in London. It shouldn't be this difficult. Potter said in the January window, if you remember, when we were saying, are you going to sign anyone? And he went, well, anyone can sign players. It's easy to sign players. You got to get the right ones. Do you remember he said that? Well, is it easy, Graham? Is it easy at West Ham? Are you finding it easy to sign players, Graham? I don't think you are. First of all, you ain't got any fucking money to spend. So how's it ever going to be easy for you to sign a player? You've got to sell, I won't call them crown jewels because I don't think you can really call them that. Although they are to our team, I believe. The better players. I mean, Aguirre. I know we didn't have him last year, but we were shit. You got to consider him one of our better players. He was a star of La Liga last year. You've got him who's going to be going. You've got Alvarez who's going to be going. You've got Emerson who's going to be going. Paqueta, Kudus. That's top level players. You might not say they're like the real elite level, but they are top level players compared to what's being left behind. Apart from a handful. Wan-Bissaka, Bowen, and maybe one day Jimmy if he ever gets fit again. I don't know. Who knows? But we're up shit creek without a paddle. Macaulay can approach and draw up as many lists as he wants. We've got to work on selling players and getting them out the door, but we're not going to just accept anything for them. And we should be. If this is a situation that we're in now, we can't afford to drag the window out. So you're going to have to take hits on players. I don't want to take 50 million for Kudus. I think that's a fucking joke. But that's a situation, if it's true, that we can't buy a player until we sell. They're just going to have to get players out and take hits on them. We've been doing it for fucking 10 years, 15 years anyway. Why is it all changing now? We've got 95 million's worth of wiggle room on PSR. So what's the problem? Even if you take 50, 60 million for Kudus, again, which I don't want to do, that's still profit. It looks good on your PSR. So if we wanted to sell players, if we wanted to back Potter, if we wanted to do everything in a timely manner to give Potter all the tools that he thinks that he needs to give him the best chance of succeeding, David Sullivan would be backing him. He'd be doing all he could, but he's not going to. It's as I said before. Graham Potter, I do feel sorry for him. He is going to be thrown under the bus, 100%. He's not going to be backed. He's going to get the minimal help possible from Sullivan. In fact, he's going to be hindered. He'd struggle anyway because I believe he's a bit of a shit manager. But under these circumstances, what chance has he got? And he will be sacked next season and held up as a sacrificial lamb. As a reason why. I know we've sold all your players, but we're blaming Potter. There you go. I don't think it'll work this time because the focus has firmly been shifted onto Sullivan. I don't like Potter. I don't like his football. I don't. But he didn't employ himself. He didn't. So for everything that Potter does now that irritates me moving forwards, it's, as far as I'm concerned, I'm just looking at Sullivan. It's just him. That bloke he's an absolute cancer for this club. And I know that's a strong term. I know it is. But he really is. We're being eaten from the inside out by this man. He needs to go. Okay. Well, that's enough of the cheery stuff. All right. What I will go on to talk about, there's a few comments that we got off the back of the video that I did, the call to action the other day. So here is one of them from Gio at Hammers Chat. It's made me feel much better. This is a man who knows PSR inside out. He knows it inside out. He said it's going to get even worse next summer. He's given up talking about it, PSR, etc., as he doesn't feel like it goes down well, but he's confident that he knows the excuse is coming for next summer and it will be worse than this summer. This is getting worse. Like I said, we're at a stage now where we've eaten ourselves. There's nothing else to borrow against. The banks are not loaning to us. There's no one on the board that wants to pump money into this for Sullivan to spend because he spunks some money away. They know it. No one's going to do that. We're running out of big players to sell. So it's almost shit or bust this season for Sullivan. He's probably hoping by some miracle that we can just shit our way into the top 6 and get into Europe just to get some money in again. I don't know. What happens if we get relegated in this mess? I don't know. Doesn't bear thinking about really. Right, Hollow Man, UFO landing. Sounds like you love a conspiracy. But he says Birmingham City fans warned us about Sullivan before he came to our club. They were right. Best thing for us, short of getting new owners right now, would be to get relegated, get new owners and rebuild from there. Sullivan is obviously not interested in investing in us as a Premier League club. He never has been interested in investing in us. That's why we've ended up with such a massive board, because he invites other people to come in and buy a few shares that don't give him any power. But part of the deal is they throw in money for him to spend, which he just basically runs through his favoured agents on player transfers, ins and outs. Basically takes his cut of it all. Those days are over. It's done. And plus, there's all the other stuff that we know is going on with Sullivan at the moment. We can't talk about it, but everyone knows what's going on with him at the minute. The dirty little fucker. Yeah. I hope it fucking does come home to roost for him soon. I really do. What that'll mean for West Ham, I just don't know. But some things are more important. Okay, so you got Maltese. Hammer says, don't they say you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? I just don't understand our supporters anymore. Just sign the bloody petition as we need our club saving. I completely and utterly agree, Maltese Hammer. Again, this is me shaking the tree. What are you all waiting for? What are we waiting for? Really? That's good numbers now. You know, I'm a little bit happy now. We're over 4,000, but it should be so many more. We had almost 10,000 views on that last video. We've got 15,000 subscribers on here. People have been sharing it far and wide as well. What are West Ham fans waiting for? This is a Brady and Sullivan out petition for West Ham fans. Who wants them to stay? It's a no-brainer. So come on, people. Jump on board. We've got Colin. He said, is that all the votes that we get? That's a disgrace, man. Well said, Nick. Keep putting it out there, which I will. I'm going to be boring you with it. We're supposed to have the best fans in the world, but that's just a letdown. Come on, lads. Sign. Completely agree, Colin. We will get there, mate. Don't you worry. Hang on, I'm fucking these all up. Then we've got Happy says, those of us who chose not to sign this petition have absolutely no right to complain about the board and how they run our club. I do agree with that to a degree. Look, being petty about it, if you can't even be asked to sign a petition to say, I want these people out, you then can't turn around and say and moan about them. You can't. If you can't even be asked for 2 minutes to sign a petition, and that's all it takes, and you ain't got to pay, it doesn't cost you anything. It can do. It's a change.org petition. So they do ask for money when you're doing it, but you haven't got to do it. You just sign it, check your email, verify it on your email, it's done. It doesn't cost you anything. There are some people that have paid to push it on the platform, but you don't have to do it. And finally, we've got the man, the myth, the legend, that is Bill Gardner says, West Ham fans, make your minds up. What do you want? A lot of you have turned your backs and run away. Sign a petition. Don't let them beat you. Well said, Bill. I agree. Now, look, like I've already said, people, it ain't all doom and gloom. 4,000 ain't bad numbers. It's not. We started this petition right at the end of the season, just before we got a win on the last game. We did that 24-hour show. This is good numbers. We're in the off-season now. Like I've already said, it isn't going to go away, this. It's not. We're going to keep on pushing it. And the quicker we can get to the numbers that we need to get to make this meaningful so that we can then move on to another phase, the better. All right? Now, listen. Enjoy the rest of your Father's Day evening. I hope you've all had a great one. I hope I've not depressed you all too much like what I normally do, don't I? I'm just talking facts. That's all I'm talking. But I'm not letting it get me down anymore. I just think it's a bit... It's comedy now. There's loads of players that we're linked with, but all the other channels are doing that. You know, all these names. We're linked with some Moroccan from Fiorentina as well. Don't know. I ain't even looked at him. I couldn't tell you who he is. That's how likely I think it is that we're going to be signing anyone until someone goes out. I don't think that's going to happen. Even then, I'm not sure. Unless we get a massive lump for someone like a Kudus. I don't know. We'll see. We've got to sign players, surely, haven't we? It's got to happen. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to go and watch a film. Love you all. Speak to you soon. Come on, you irons.